Tapas, the pinnacle of fancy drinking food. Now, the first thing that comes to mind for some people, usually a cheese board, maybe some croquettes, but my personal favorite, the tortilla de España, is by far the best tapas. And probably one of the easiest things you can make. Now I'm going to show you how to make it. Come on.
So now before we fully dive into this tortilla, just a little background information. So this is kind of developed out of necessity in the early 1800s in Spain during war times because potatoes, onion, egg were kind of all they really had laying around. So if they had it back then, odds are you probably got it laying around in your house. So you're going to take one white onion, just chop that pretty fine, and then onto the potato. I recommend using a russet potato, but you're really good on any just white potato. Now, whenever I'm peeling a root vegetable, I like to lay down a piece of parchment paper to catch all those scraps so that once I'm done peeling it, you can just fold it up. You have a super quick and easy cleanup. Look at that. I mean, what's better? Oh, but Bryce, why don't you just use a bowl? Well, whenever you peel something over a bowl, stuff still flies everywhere, okay? So you can totally slice your potatoes on a mandolin, just kind of like my pasta roller. It so happens to be in storage in New York. Seeing a little trend here. Hopefully it doesn't become too common. So just slice them pretty thin. You don't want to turn them into something that's going to just tear apart. You want it to be able to hold up with everything. So now, I would definitely recommend using a smaller pot. I don't know what I was thinking. So you're going to want to dump your potatoes and onions into said pot. Liberally season with salt and pepper. You're going to want to over season them because once you put them in the eggs, you're not going to season the eggs. Just stick with me. And you're going to want to completely submerge those in a neutral oil. I'm using canola here. Health freaks, come after me. I'm sorry, I like canola oil. You're going to want to bring that to about medium heat. You don't really want any bubbles coming from it, but just a little bit. Probably let it simmer for about 20 to 30 minutes until it's tender, just like this. And pro tip, if you do not have a cake tester, highly recommend getting one. They're like $4. Alright, so now once those are tender, you're going to want to strain them into a bowl. And you are going to want to save that oil because you need a little bit of oil to cook this thing in. So why use more oil? Just use what you got there. Look at that. Alright, so now I have 4 beaten eggs in this bowl that I'm going to add to my potato and onion mixture. And then you're just going to want to mix this around really, really light. Now at this point, you could kind of go in any direction you want. You could add maybe some Fritos, Doritos. Huh? I don't know. You can really just do whatever you want. It's your tortilla. Do whatever you please. Now, in a pan over about medium, high heat, you're going to want enough oil to cover the entire bottom of your pan. And you're going to want to place your potato mixture right on in there. Probably a good time to tell you guys to remember to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, just go around with a spatula and make sure that you have no stickage to the sides of the pan because you do not want this to rip in half. So now, once you see the sides are completely set, you're going to pop that in the oven for about 10 minutes, just until your top starts to look like this. It's relatively set. You just see a couple spots that look a little raw still. Now, this is the most complicated part. Give it a nice, pray that it doesn't rip apart. Oh, look at how beautiful that is. I have nightmares about this thing ripping apart. That's a story for a different day, though. Now, once you put that back in the oven, let it cook for about another 5 minutes, just until you can insert something into it and it comes out completely clean, and you're good to go. Now, let's cut this bad boy open to see those beautiful potato layers. Ooh, look at that. Now, if that is not the sexiest omelet I have ever seen, ooh, look at that. See, no crushed potatoes, nice layers. Now, you can either serve your tortilla warm or let it cool and make this optional little saffron aioli. Now, Bryce, what's saffron? Now, saffron is the dried pistils of the crocus flower, has a very light, florally taste, but the color from it is beautiful. So now, in order to bloom your saffron, you're going to want to take about 2 tablespoons of warm water, anywhere that's around like 90 to 110 degrees. Just going to give that a little mixy mix and let it sit on your counter for about 10 minutes. Just let the flour know the water. Now, onto the garlic. Take out all your aggression. Sorry, I got a little too carried away. Sorry about that. All right, so now just give your garlic a rough chop and take a little sprinkle of salt. I have sea salt here, but any kind of coarse salt will work. And just kind of chop that salt into it. And now this is a super advanced cooking technique. You only learn this stuff if you go to culinary school, folks. So you're glad you're here. Now take the back of your knife and slowly just keep dragging it into the board until you get something that looks kind of like this. Now, if you're ever mixing something in a bowl and it keeps moving all over the place and you hate your life because of it, do this little towel trick. Hopefully when you do it, you'll be like, wow, Bryce, you made my life so much easier. You're welcome in advance. Now to that bowl, add 1 egg yolk, the juice of half a lemon, about a teaspoon of mustard of your choice. I went with Dijon here. You could use whole grain, whatever you want. No yellow mustard though, that's weird. Then your garlic paste and slowly mix that together. So again, with the neutral oil, I'm using canola. You are going to want to slowly bead in your oil initially, whisking constantly, making sure that you see no oil sitting in. And after a few minutes, you'll start to get something that looks a little bit like this, and you can start to pick up the speed that you put in your oil. And now we've all seen what mayonnaise looks like before. So once you get to the mayonnaise consistency, you're good to throw in your saffron water. Just put all of it. At first I didn't, and then I realized it was like 2 tablespoons, so it was plenty. You could definitely go with more if you're trying to get a brighter color. And there you have it. Seasoned to taste, you got saffron aioli. Now for a bougie plate up, when in doubt, swipe it out. Take your beautiful potato omelette, some of that smoked paprika, and now, if you really want to get bougie, throw in those tweezers. Oof, that is too beautiful. Do I need to say anything else?
That's it. Tortilla de España, tortilla de patatas, potato, whatever you want to call it. All that matters, it's good. Let's have a bite. Frittata step aside. Honestly, like how simple this is, like super easy breakfast, have people coming over for some drinks, whatever, super versatile. You don't need to make the aioli with it, but really complements it, super nice, but fine on its own, really doesn't need anything. Have another bite. Mm.